And then also, I'm a guy in my 30s. My hair, obviously, as you can tell, it's thinning in the front. It's not quite the force that it used to be. My hair used to be so thick and just, and I just feel like, damn, I'm ready to be a shaved head guy.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Adam22 from No Jumper. So this is something a bunch of people have been sending me. It's like I get these, I get tagged in like body transformations and natty or not speculations, but I also get, it's like pretty much anybody who regrows their hair I get tagged too, which is kind of funny. So it's like people want me to cover their potential drug stack pharmacology wise to gain back their hair, or if they did a transplant or not, or pretty much anything that has to do with you changing. I'm gonna get fucking tagged in apparently. So if your body changes, your hair changes, I'm gonna know somehow. So it pretty much gives me content though, so I appreciate when you guys do, and obviously directly relevant to my content because I'm sort of the hair loss prevention pharmacology guy, I guess. So Adam22 is a really popular YouTuber slash I don't know, is No Jumper a podcast? I should know that going into this, but I believe it is a fairly popular show, regardless if it is a podcast only. It's also on video format, so I don't know if it's classified as such, but either way, he is a massive influencer on YouTube. And notably, he has experienced hair loss for a while, to the point where he self-admittedly thought his hair was so bad that he needed to shave it off.
And then also, I'm a guy in my 30s. My hair, obviously, as you can tell, it's thinning in the front. It's not quite the force that it used to be. My hair used to be so thick and just, and I just feel like, damn, I'm ready to be a shaved head guy.
So he says he's ready to shave his head. He has his girlfriend there with him who is on board with the process. And love through thick and thin, regardless if you have hair or not hair. She's there for him, which is good for him. He talks about how girls have responded to the idea of him shaving his head in the past too.
I've had a lot of girls in my life tell me like, don't shave your head. Like not recently, but in the past.
I think they're really cute.
Yeah, I do too.
So the girl is definitely on board. Objectively, if she didn't actually know this guy and was not with him already and in love with him, if she saw two pictures side by side of him with a, buzz cut, shaved head, just totally slick cue ball versus a dense Norwood Zero prepubescent hairline, which would she prefer? I'm going to speculate that it's probably the hair one. Most girls, unfortunately, are going to prefer you with hair. Even though they may say otherwise while they're with you. They may say they don't give a fuck, but in reality, it's the same thing with,
I don't care if you're 6 feet tall.
And the same chick will have a fucking height cut off, even though she is a potential disaster. A lot of girls are very superficial. So at the end of the day, obviously you can get away with a shaved head. Look at The Rock, look at Jason Statham, look at Bruce Willis. They're fucking sick and they're bald. As we all know, that is the go-to excuse, but it's the same thing with anything, you can get away with being shorter than 6 feet. Obviously, a lot of people do. Tons of fucking people do. And as long as you have some level of like decent maxed outness in all subcategories of your entire person that you are presenting as a marketing package, essentially, whether it is height, whether it is money, whether it is social presence, whether it is influence, whether it is good looks, whether it is whatever the fuck, the more things you have maxed out as possible, the better off you're going to be. We all fucking know that. That's generally well accepted. So, this guy's like sort of trying to find a justification for shaving his head. Obviously, if it doesn't look good, then like, fuck, by all means, shave it. That makes total sense. And you can see throughout his years, in like late 2016, this is what his hair looked like in this thumbnail here. Probably an interesting video. This is right before he decided to take the plunge to shave his head in that video he posted in November of the same year. And then later in 2018, he actually started to grow his hair out again. This is what it looked like, and he actually, kudos to him. He like self-acknowledges a lot of celebrities will kind of just like skirt around their hair loss and be like, not want to touch on it whatsoever. Like even talking about it, I think I should shave my head because I used to have thick hair and now I have hair loss. Like no celebrity is going to come out and talk about that shit, nor are they going to talk about what they're doing to fix it. And here he is, not talking about how to fix it, but he's still like acknowledging his hair loss openly, which is, you know, totally relatable for the rest of us who experience hair loss and are watching this. So he says this Japanese hamster is, like he says, hamster, is said to assist with male pattern baldness.
Stuff on Adam's head. The Japanese believe that this will rejuvenate my hairline.
So in 2018, we can clearly see he's growing his hair back out and the hairline is thin, receded, wispy as fuck. Moving forward to, this is 2018, still growing it out, very diffuse, thinning, not a whole lot to work with here. Moving forward to 2019, and he is shaving his head again and sitting here when you wear Prada shoes to the skate park, and he is just chilling, playing with this thing, and you can see the shaved head because, oh shit, the first fucking comment, oh damn, that's one hell of a receding hairline. Hey, Lena, to hook you up with a hair doc ASAP before you can't save the half a head of hair you've got left. Jesus Christ, bitch. Harsh enough? So anyways, the first fucking comment I see is a chick coming to shit on him. So obviously hair is, you know, at top of mind for some of these chicks. Obviously you don't want to, you might not want to be with somebody who is, you know, that superficial. But I mean, at the end of the day, acknowledging, like, preventing hair loss, I feel like is if it makes you feel less confident in, and it creates an outcome in which you are going to perform more poorly in a social setting, regardless if it's with men, with women, with whatever, then it's important. If you deem it not important whatsoever because it doesn't interfere with your ability to interact in public and to, you know, feel confident in social situations, then by all means, like, shave it off. But I mean, for people who give a fuck, you know, it's a pretty big deal, regardless if girls are going to like you better or not, whatever. So moving forward to February 21st of this year, all of a sudden, he's sporting a pretty decent hairline with, you know, some density on top. Going to May 14th, we get a close-up on the top of his head, bird's eye view here, and his hair's slicked over and wet. And we can see a significantly recovered hairline and some density on the top. Like, there's some diffuse thinning here still, but I mean, like, for it being 4 years later and for it to be significantly better than it was in 2016 when you were first noticing, like, I have to shave it off because it's so bad right now, what's that lead us to believe? You know, if you haven't been on drugs this whole time to prevent it from getting worse, and now all of a sudden it's suddenly miraculously significantly better, what are you doing? Transplant maybe? You know, that's what everyone who tagged me is speculating. So that's, you know, my sort of go-to assumption as well is the drastic reversal. It's very hard to gain back ground. It's one thing to prevent hair loss, but it's a whole nother ball game trying to, like, reverse and gain back ground from, like, several Norwood scales back. So this guy was, like, very diffuse at the front and, like, significantly receding, and now it's like, you know, to the point where he's walking around with fucking good hair. Like, look at this shot, May 31st, buddy's killing it. Looking a lot slimmer too. The lean face, trimmed up. Guy's fucking diced, got a sick jawline and nice dense Norwood. I don't know what this Norwood is, but this hair looks fucking presentable and very good. Going forward to August 9th. Look at this hair, dude. Walking around proud with that hair now. You know, presumably if you can grow it out and it's going to look good, you're going to do it. And that's exactly what he did. Clearly he's not shaving it anymore. So obviously he thinks that if he had the choice between hair and no hair, he would go for hair. And how did he do it? Was it drugs? I would say it was probably a hair transplant. Like, this is such a significant reversal to the point where you would have to do, like, significant pharmacologic intervention to recover this much ground. Like, maybe if you were a hyper responder to finasteride, microneedling with minoxidil, dutasteride, RU58841, you know, the fucking, you know, tried and true newbie stack, then you might be able to get back this much ground from where he was at. But, you know, I'm guessing a celebrity or, you know, like a very prevalent influencer who probably has the money for it, probably doesn't care or give a shit about the science or know about the science. You know, what's the first thing you're going to think? Like, how do I recover as much hair as possible in as quick of a time frame as possible? It's probably going to be a hair transplant. You know, throw, you know, 10, 20K at it, get a good, sick hair transplant, recover a couple a Norwood or two and recover a significant amount of density, and now you have enough hair to grow your hair out again to still look good. So obviously, if the choice is there, these guys are growing out their hair, and that's exactly what they're doing after a transplant. And I wouldn't be surprised if the guy who did the transplant probably put him on finasteride too, to ensure that it doesn't get significantly worse. And that's what I think he did. So basically the takeaway, again, as usual, is be proactive, because it only is going to be more of an issue once you wait until you see it. Once you notice it, you're kind of fucked, because you've waited until you've lost like 20 to 30,000 hairs off your head. Whereas you could have been proactive about it and prevented it from getting to that point far easier than it is to recover ground once you've lost it. So everybody who thinks they're not prone to hair loss, blah, 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 it's like realistically 90 to 99% of us are, and the statistics are way the fuck off in terms of, oh, you know, only like X percentage notices hair loss by 30 or 40 or 50. It's like significantly higher than what you see in the, you know, clinical literature studies. It's like, how many guys do you see walking around in their 40s with a perfect dense Norwood 0? Like fucking none. So like, we're not all Ronald Reagan genetics here. Like most of us have, like even by 30, we have like noticeable diffuse thinning or recession or something that is notable of some sort of progression. And that is just even naturals, not guys on steroids, not anything special, just natural guys. Like Adam22 is not old by any means, and he's been losing his hair for a long fucking time now. And he could have prevented it from getting this bad if he was just proactive with a relatively mild prevention protocol that addressed DHT, as well as perhaps topically with an anti-androgen or something very basic stacked on top of that. And instead he let it get to a point where he had to play catch up, which probably involved shelling out, you know, 10 to 20K or whatever it cost there for a transplant to gain back the density and ground that he could have otherwise just kept with a very cheap drug protocol from the beginning. I'm not saying you should use drugs. I'm just saying that if you care about this shit, it would be wise to assess your options earlier rather than later, because it's only once you've lost, you know, 20, 30%, had permanent significant miniaturization on the head, that you would then get to a point where you can actually visually see a representation of loss in the mirror. If you pull 100 hairs off your head, you're not going to really notice anything. But once you've lost 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, now is when you're seeing in the mirror under heavy downlighting, holy shit, I'm losing my hair all of a sudden. It's like, no, dude, you've been losing it for years. You just haven't noticed until now. So be proactive, guys. It's going to fucking get you one day, unfortunately. It just happens to all of us. And I wish I started sooner, because it would have saved me a lot of aggressive pharmacologic intervention that I had to do thereafter to gain back the ground I did. And I'm fortunate that I gained back the ground I did, because it could have been much worse. It could have been way fucking worse, to be honest. Like, it got pretty bad. It could have got much worse though if I just left it and didn't intervene when I did. I wish I intervened sooner though, because I'm never going to get back perfect Norwood 0 density from the get-go that I had without like heavy duty intervention, or I guess a relatively minor transplant would probably get me back there. But you know, if the choice was there when I was fucking 18, 19 years old and I could go back in time, one of the first things I would tell myself, as silly as it sounds, is get on a hair loss prevention regimen, get a ketoconazole shampoo, get on finasteride, get some RU5841. And that probably would have been more than fucking sufficient to stave off any loss. I wouldn't have needed to try any of the kind of experimental shit that I've been going into in the past years. So anyways, long story short, Adam22's hair looks fucking good now, and it's much improved, and it's good to see. It's not like he's publicly acknowledging it though. It would be cool if he talked about what he did to recover it, because a lot of guys would want to know, you know? It's like a very taboo topic that is rarely touched on, especially by the guys who are actually actively involved with recovering their hair. They don't usually come out and, you know, post about what everyone's fucking thinking. Like when this guy posts a video, the first comment when he's bald is, nice hairline, from some fucking bitch of a chick. But when he posts his hair, it's not like he's talking about how he recovered it. But a lot of us are thinking, the first thing we're thinking, and a lot of these people that are tagging me are saying, what do you do for his hair? You know, why does it look so good all of a sudden? It's like, you know, it'd be cool if these celebrities would normalize, you know, addressing it rather than, I don't know if he's actively avoiding it. Maybe he's talked about it before on his show. I don't really follow it closely enough, but it's good to see a pretty aggressive recovery for a guy who otherwise would have been shaving his head because he didn't like the way it looked. So obviously he likes the way it looks. He's growing it out. Good for him. But for you and for anyone else who is not yet at that point, proactive prevention is the name of the game, in my opinion. If you want to learn more about hair loss pharmacology and even some of the more elaborate research that is yet to be, become mainstream, I guess, for more aggressive protocols, check out my site, as well as sign up for my newsletter if you want to get notified when I publish my articles. They are far more elaborate than my videos and have concise subsections with all the clinical studies I reference cited for you to delve into further yourself for your own personal research. And anything I'm associated with is in the video description below, including my go-to ketoconazole and minoxidil product for beginners, as well as my pharma-grade hair loss medications through my HRT clinic. If you are interested in using any of the pharmacy-grade medications I use myself, you can check those out. Anything else I am associated with, video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.